Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt. First of all, Coach, I've got to say, that is a sweet lid, man. That's a sweet lid. I got to give me one of those.
Oh, man, went down and checked out the Oklahoma City, whatever they're called nowadays. We both love the name 89ers. They got to bring the 89ers back.
Absolutely.
89ers colors, whatever. No, I love the cap. Love Oklahoma City and Tulsa and the Dodgers and Rancho, wherever we're at, man. But, yeah, I like the hat. Thank you.
One more time in my life, I need Oklahoma City to be the 89ers. I need a Beach Boys concert, and I need a seventh inning dot race, right?
Yes.
One more time.
At least one more time.
Yeah. Okay, Coach, the Dodgers lose 10-4 last night. Hey, I'm going to start this with the Dodgers. Basically, if they play 500 baseball, the Padres would have to be like 15-2.
Yeah.
So I know Blake Harris put out the exact tweet.
I saw that.
Of all the different scenarios. That was a great tweet by Blake, by the way.
Yes.
Very informative, and I enjoyed reading all of that. So that kind of puts things into perspective, the big picture mode. You never like to lose, but the Dodgers are going to win the NL West. They are tied with the Phillies for the best record in the National League for the home field advantage. They are 4 games ahead of the Brewers in terms of the win column for staying out of that wild card. So things look great this morning. This is definitely a morning we're going to concentrate on Walker Buehler. That's going to be about it because the offense actually wasn't too bad last night.
Right.
But things are looking very good for the Dodgers right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, as you mentioned before we went on air, man, we're kind of, stretched here because, we love Busch, we love Bellinger, and our boys are killing us last night. What do you have, 6 hits, 6 RBIs between the two of them?
Yeah.
But, you love to see your former Dodgers. Wish they were doing it against somebody else, but, they really got after it. It's great to see Busch get his time in the big leagues, and he's making it happen. So, but, yeah, the Dodgers, offense wasn't bad at all. I mean, they cut, Mookie's home run made it 7-4. They're still in the 7th inning. I think you got them loaded that inning, or had at least 2 on that inning after his home run. So you're thinking, hey, little cheeker right here, a little parachute out in right field line, and we got 7-6 game. But didn't happen. But they like you said, offense wasn't horrible last time. We had 10, 11, 12 hits, something like that. It was double figures hits, I think. But the Cubs just had more. They had a really good game. What's that Paredes guy? How do you pronounce his name? He killed everything Buehler threw. Even his foul balls were crushed. I was just like, oh, my God, this guy's on everything he throws. I think he had 2 or 3 hits off. I think he went 2 for 3 off Buehler, but that guy was just crushing everything he threw. Looked like he knew what was coming.
Coach, I saw something last night that I don't know that I've seen in professional baseball since I started Dodgers Daily. Kyle Hendricks threw one pitch that I saw that I think I've got this right. I went all the way back through the game log. I mean, I was kind of noticing it as I was watching it. I was following along with it. And then I went back again this morning and looked through the game log. I think it was all the way till the last inning that he threw a pitch that was 90 miles an hour above. Everything was below 90 miles an hour. He threw one pitch all night that was 90 or above, and that was in the last inning he threw. I don't know that I've seen that at any level in professional baseball. I can't remember the last time.
Might have been Greg Maddux. Hendricks would be your poor man's Greg Maddux.
Yes,
he's obviously not on that level, but he's similar in the way he approaches hitters. He knows can't throw it down the middle and everything. No, he's been a good professional major league pitcher for a while now, and he's been very good for the Cubs. He's been stayed healthy as far as I know. I don't follow him as close. I follow the Dodgers, obviously, but yeah, that was interesting. He dances around the zone right there. Like I said, he's similar to Maddux, but nobody's going to be Greg Maddux again. But it's a similar type of approach when you look at it.
Yeah, I thought the Dodgers did a good job of singles. They get a walk, they get a sac fly, all this kind of stuff. It wasn't bad baseball at all, but every time the Dodgers scored, we talk about this all the time. Momentum is huge.
Yep.
The Cubs answered right back. So it was. I thought the first 2 spot the Dodgers put up was great baseball, and then Buehler comes out and walks the leadoff man in the next inning. Just as a manager, I can't tell you just how. We walked the leadoff. You hate to be negative and all that, and you don't want to have negative body mannerisms and all that, but you're like, dude, we just went out and scored and got back in the game. We're walking the leadoff, man. I mean, come on, man. It gives you those vibes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems like you just give it the other. Yeah, you seem like you're trying to seize momentum and get you.
Yes.
You're thinking, all right, we're right there. We're right there. We just need to get a clean inning, get back in here and swing it. Kind of like when we get the 7-4 deal. Well, they come out outscore 3. I get 10-4. So so much for that. That seemed like a good idea at the time. But same type deal. Come out, walk the leadoff hitter. No matter what level, you're an eye level coaching. You watch OSU games. Hear my brother on the radio, whose birthday today, by the way, Rex. But anyway,
nice.
Another Dodger lover, Rex. But same thing, leadoff walk, and they always come back to haunt you. They got the old stats. What the leadoff walk, how many times it scores, and it's like being down 1-2. What your average is going to be compared to 2-0. It's just the same thing. That's the analytics of baseball that we all know. We've all known since we've been doing this, and that type of thing always comes back to roost. It seems like.
I thought the Dodgers had weathered the storm in the 5th inning when they scored the 2 spot and they played the good offense. I thought really that was the turning point where the Cubs were able to answer that 2 spot for the Dodgers with a 3 spot of their own, starting with that leadoff walk there in the top of the 6th inning. So, okay, Walker Buehler, coach, 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. Boy, the results are rough, and we are out of process runway. I mean, there's no more time to say, hey, well, some things here look good and some things here look bad. As of right now, I've said this I don't know how many times now. I'm sure Dodgers dogs out there are tired of hearing me say it, but the process part of it's over. And the one thing I think Dave Roberts has to get better at as a manager is managing to results in the playoffs, managing to the bottom line, not managing to the process, and then not being loyal to, quote, unquote, his guys. Buehler's one of his guys. The process part of it's over. I'll say this. He threw some really nice pitches. I thought the fastball up in the 1st inning to Suzuki for the strikeout. I thought that was going to gather him some momentum, and then he hangs one to Bellinger. And then also I'll say this. I felt like the Cubs did a great job of splitting off some really good pitches from Buehler. And just waiting until he threw a mistake, which all pitchers do. Like Suzuki had, an 11-pitch at bat.
Yep.
And then once he made a mistake, they ambushed that. That's all, hey, like in May, you're like, hey, man, next time they won't hit your hitter's pitches, right? Yep. We're good. Let's go. But now it's September. I don't know that you have any more runway with Walker Buehler. It's an interesting deal with me.
Like I said, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, we're getting down to, like we said, dog days are gone. These are the days. I mean, you're in a pennant race. You're getting prepared for the playoffs in a lot of ways. I go back a little bit what you said. I give the Cubs some credit there. I thought they had a great approach.
I agree.
They had a great game offensively. But on the other hand, like you said, to be a positive with Buehler, I know he threw a lot of strikes. Out of 82 pitches, it was a bunch of strikes. On the other hand, maybe some of them, maybe threw too many strikes. Like you said, they were ambushing some of them. And he got into the 6th inning. So that's good for the team concept. But like you're saying, now evaluating him, going ahead, moving forward, we still got a long ways to go. And I don't, if you start the playoffs today, as we always say, you're not starting the playoffs today, but if you start the playoffs today, you can't pitch him, I don't think. I don't see. Of course, you don't have glass now. We got to get some guys back. I guess I should rephrase that. If you start today, you have to pitch him because you got some guys that are still missing. But moving forward, we've got to get shored up there.
Yeah, I mean, process of elimination. I mean, I know you say that, hey, you can't pitch him, and then you go, well, wait a minute, then who the hell else would have
exactly?
I mean, it's one of those deals.
And I'll say not always good, as we always say. Yeah.
No, Coach. So, I mean, I say all that, the tough guy speak about the process runway being over and all that, and then I kind of back up and I go, well,
exactly.
Okay. Kind of one of those deals. We've all been in those situations. We've also been in situations, I'm going to say this straight up, I'm sure it's going to make some Dodgers fans upset. Fine. I don't care. Hey, this game is all about building relationships.
Yep.
You compete against each other and then your brothers. Hey, professional baseball is a fraternity, man. Only a few amount of people get to do it. So these guys, even when they're competing against each other, they're in a fraternity together. It's hard to explain unless you get to see it every day. So I kind of get to see that from the outside, getting to see how these guys interact together. So I say that to say I can't tell you how many times as a coach I got beat in a game. I was sick to my stomach that we lost, but it was to a good buddy of mine, and I walked over and I said this exact comment. I hate losing. It really sucks, but if I had to lose to anybody on earth, I'm glad it's you. So that's kind of how I felt last night when Cody Bellinger and Michael Busch were hitting home runs.
Bellinger's got that smile going around the first base. Look like Freddie's acting like he's going to trip him. You know what I mean? You're right, Case. It's fraternity. And it's more nowadays. The modern day Major League ball players they're built differently in a lot of ways, you know, physically, mentally, everything. But it is a big fraternity. It's always been a fraternity, but it's more of one now. These guys, we even go back to high school, Case. All these high school kids know each other.
Oh, yeah.
They've all got videos. I mean, they know each other all over the country, especially if they're traveling and playing travel ball. It's a big fraternity. I'm like you. It's great to see Busch get his shot, and he's doing well. You know, in Bellinger, we just love Belli. Everybody does. I mean, you ever hear the Dodger fans not ever going to boo him. They don't like it when he hits one 438 feet or whatever that missile was last night. But no, it's a big deal, and I don't think Dodger fans get mad. If they do, they just got to understand. You know, that's the process right there. These guys are tight nowadays, and back in the old days, back in the '60s, these guys didn't change teams. You know, they didn't. Right. They stuck with the same team, and they hated each other. I mean,
because they didn't have the prospects of maybe having to play with them the next year.
No, they were sworn enemies. Like back in the day when little Tony Holtz living in Randolph, I hated the Cincinnati Reds because the Dodgers would win 100 games and couldn't beat them and couldn't even get in the playoffs. Even though I love Johnny Bench, you know, quarter Choctaw Indians from Oklahoma, my boy, but I hated the Reds, you know. So like that, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I hate the Steelers because we can never freaking beat them. You know, that's that rivalry. I love Terry Bradshaw, but I mean, I hated it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's built into you. But these guys nowadays, I mean, there's some rivalry. There's some guys that don't like each other. We even on the same team. I'm sure that goes on. I'm not in there to know that, but you know that's got to be happening. But as a whole, it's exactly what you said. The fraternity, those guys are tight. You know, I remember the first time when the Braves first came there, Dansby Swanson, Freddie's little boy sprints over to the Braves dugout and jumps up in Dansby Swanson's. I'm like, hey, Uncle Dansby, you know. By the way, that's one I wish we'd have got. But anyway, you know, but those guys are family. You know, those guys, and they're always going to be that way. You know, it's like me and you. If Stillwater and Guthrie played each, and we just coach against each other, whoever won,
I want to beat your ass.
Yes,
first of all,
I used to tell Corey Bells and Morrison, as soon as the game's over, I go hug him and tell him I loved him. But during the game, we're at each other's throat. That's how it should be. Yeah, compete.
Yeah. So moving on to tonight, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Last I heard, he was a starter. Looking at the box score right now, it's still to be determined. So, hey, where are the Dodgers at right now? We've talked about the great record, the great work they've done. Where are you at from an overall perspective with this club? Where are your concerns, your biggest concerns? Where are you the most confident? And if the playoffs started today, you know, what makes you excited and confident that the Dodgers would be the team that would win the World Series this year?
I would never believe this come out of my mouth. But the bullpen has been really good, and there's been a lot of people involved in that. I think it said last night on the broadcast, are we third in the big leagues or something as far as bullpen stuff? So that's one that kind of sneaks up on you. We're all sitting here as Dodger fans, we're getting upset, blah blah. We blew 2 leads in the 9th inning on back-to-back days. We suck. Our bullpens. Then you look up; those guys have been steady pretty much all year. There's some issues there. It's like, but every team has issues. I'd probably feel that right now, today, the best about the bullpen. I know we got the stars on offense, but that's not always going to be there. But, you know, as a whole, I like the bullpen right now.
Yeah. You know what else I like? Of course, last night he was 0 for 5, but I think Will Smith has shown signs of coming out of it. I know I've said this many different times, especially now that you don't have Teo. I think Will Smith, Max Muncy, those guys are really the key to the Dodgers offense. Now, we know if Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, if they hit, the Dodgers, no matter what else happens, as long as they pitch good, they could score enough runs to win any game. But again, your margin for error is going to be slim. It's going to be like 4-3, 5-4. So when guys like Will Smith hit, when guys like Gavin Lux, maybe a Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez before he got hurt, that's when you go from the 4 to 5 runs when Mookie and them hit to the 8 or 9 runs, and the other team has absolutely no chance. So I think really one of the big keys for the Dodgers is, can Will Smith, I know he went 0 for 5 last night, but he's had some good moments lately. I think a big key is, can the Dodgers get any production out of him? Because that length to the lineup that he gives, I think is crucial to create some consistency in the playoffs.
Well, you're right. He's right in the middle of it. You got the big 3 up top, the MVPs at the top of the order. He's right there kind of stretching. And I know he had at least one good the center fielder made a great play on him last night. He hit one coming in left center.
He did.
The young kid for the Cubs made a great running. What kind of speed is that? That's a hit. I mean, that might go as a double, the different guy, but not only did he not get down, he made a great. So I thought he had some good. I'm like you. I thought he had some good cuts last night. I mean, I know we're not in moral victories. This is big league baseball. Who cares? You're 0 for 5, but as the coaches and managers and the hitting coaches, they're going to break down his at bats. They're looking at the big picture because they have to, like we are. I'm like you. I think I see him coming around some there with a bat, and that's a big key for the Dodgers. We got, Lutz is still, he's up over 250 now around that area. We know he's coming on strong, and we got to get Teoscar back. Hopefully, get him back to where he was, being a run producer. We're getting, Max is working himself back in there. He still has his moments, but there's a really chance to have it. As we know, it's not earth shattering here. We got a chance to have a really great offense. And it's going to, as we've seen, the best games they've had, the bottom of the lineup have done a lot of damage.
Yep, no doubt.
And the guys, not that they don't pitch, they have no chance to pitch around those guys anyway. They can still try to get them out. You make a mistake, Ohtani, it's 400. Mookie's just Mookie. He hits it. Seems like everybody, everywhere. Same way with Freddie. Just tremendous, great big league hitters. And, then the other guys, if they step up, you're right, Casey. It won't matter if the bullpen's any good. It won't matter if the defense sucks. If that offense gets going, which is hard to do in the playoffs because you could go into Philadelphia, it's 30 and sleeting, in the championship series or whatever. I'm just throwing a scenario out there. That's why pitching and defense usually wins because, the weather in Southern California is going to be great, but it's not on the East Coast. When you get in the playoffs. And you're
facing only the plus arms.
And you're placing everybody's dudes. Yes, you're not getting an inning killer during that time. And they're going to lay some sacrifice bunts down, which we've already seen. Everybody's all in. So it's a totally different scenario. Again, those guys know more about it than I do. I'm just speaking as a fan.
Why is it that watching the game last night, this morning as we record this, I never got any kind of frustration. There was negative, and never, easy enough for me to say, never a negative thought that kind of came into my mind. As a fan, I let myself become a fan when I watch the game. I get out of coach mode. I'm like, hey, it's kind of like in football. You can get in coach mode and you can start watching the line. I've trained myself. I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Just watch the ball like every other fan does and enjoy the fact that he got 7 yards. Don't analyze what the right guard's doing and all this kind of crap, right? Maybe tomorrow if you want to go back and do that, but while you're watching. So I've trained myself be a fan during the game. So, hey, I throw the remote at the TV just like everybody else does, and I cuss and discuss as the game's going on. I found myself like not having any emotions last night other than, hey, it's cool to see Busch and Bellinger hit home runs. Does that make me less of a Dodger fan? That I don't know why I feel like that right now.
Yeah, well, the Cubs, nobody hates the Cubs, do they?
I don't.
Maybe the White Sox. We love the Cubs. Council's always been a great big leaguer. He's a dude you have no reason to hate. Dansby Swanson. Look at them down there. You're just like, hey, I kind of like those guys. They're especially ours that are close to our heart still. Bellinger and Busch, but it's hard to. You're sitting there going, and we've got a lot of good friends. Vinny, one of the biggest Cub fans ever. Brent Antoine took my place in my job I had before. Die-hard Cub fan. So you got good friends, and how much they love their Cubs, how loyal they are to the Cubs. Yeah. It's like we are to the Dodgers, and they got great fans and everything. I'm like you. I sat there thinking, first of all, I need to get to bed. I got to get up early with Case.
Yeah,
but I need to watch every pitch. I watched every pitch, but I never found myself like, God dang it. I get that way when we lose the Padres. When we're in Japan losing the Padres, first game of the year or whatever, I'm ticked off. We suck. You only got 161 left. But anyway. So I find myself doing that, but
I was pretty pouty on that podcast after that.
Yes, I know. We're ready to fire everybody. Get rid of Roberts. Well, Tony has too much money. Yeah, come on.
And you're like, okay, well, if I'm like this after game 2, how am I going to make it through 160 more of these things?
We ain't going to make it. We only got 18 left, Case. I think we can make it. We can see the finish line from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a light in the tunnel. It's not a train, baby. We can see the end of the finish line.
I hear you. Hey, Coach, this has been a fun show. Just kind of one of those really light shows. Yeah. There's not a whole lot that we've talked. We had a big show on Sunday and over the weekend, and we've talked very heavily about roster talk and some of the bigger picture stuff. So it's kind of fun sometimes just to have a little bit of a lighter show, just talk about some of the things on the lighter side. So today has been a lot of fun for me. I think sometimes in the game of baseball and the grind, you need those days to where you just keep everything light. So this has been a fun day for me.
Yeah, it was. And like I say, I think you put Buehler in perspective there. Yes, it doesn't look where we want it to be, but it's still not horrible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would.
There's moments where it looks good.
We know what type of talent the guy is. I know he's gone through 2 TJs and that sort of thing, but there's so much still there. You're just thinking we're all sitting there going, hoping, I guess, pulling for him. There it is. Now we're seeing the old. I don't know that you'll ever see it with 2 Tommy Johns. I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a physical therapist or anything, but he's our guy. We love him, and just keep going, Walker, and we'll see what happens. I hope the best for you and the Dodgers, and we love our Dodger dogs, man. And I know you got to go walk your Dodger dogs. It's that time, but love our Dodger fans and our Dodgers, and got to beat the Cubs tonight. It's a fun series.
I'll say this. I said it. I kind of hinted to it earlier. Say this about Buehler, the same thing I said about Clayton Kershaw. I hope that Dave and the organization, whichever way it goes, makes a business decision about Walker Buehler and not one that because he's just one of their guys.
Yep.
I'll say that about it. Make the right decision and put the correct pitcher out there, and don't do it because he's quote unquote, like I said, he's our guy. Don't make a decision based on that. Make it a business decision. So, hey, we'll end our show with that, Coach. I love you. It's great to see your face. So, hey, it's a great day to be a Dodger, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a great day to be a Dodger. Love you too, Case, and great talking to you, and I'll talk to you Thursday, and go Dodgers.
Welcome to Dodgers Daily Down on the Farm, and hey, super excited to bring you a report of all the action down the Dodgers minor league system. Wanted to start, this is Livan Reynoso, we'll get to him here in just a minute, but wanted to start with congratulating Gus Varlin and also Ricky Vanasco, who are back both up at the major league level. Gus Varlin has an ERA a little bit over 2, and also Ricky Vanasco, who's with the Tigers right now. Gus is with the Chicago White Sox, but the Ricky Vanasco with the Tigers the other day actually shut down the Padres in the 8th inning of a game that the Tigers beat the Padres. That helped the Dodgers gain a game on them. So, hey, not only is Ricky Vanasco back up in the major leagues, he's helping the Dodgers in a different way by beating the Padres. But who you're seeing right here is Livan Reynoso, a young man that is a very, very hard thrower. The Dodgers signed him. There's Josue de Paula. The Dodgers signed him to a free agent contract a couple of years ago, and he has made great strides. Dave Anderson, Richard De Los Santos do a great job there in Great Lakes, always developing these guys. You can see a lot of max effort there for Reynoso, young man out of the New Jersey area. Went to Tennessee Wesleyan, nice little cutter pitch for strike 3 there. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks. This was on Sunday. Reynoso had a good year this year. As the Great Lakes season is over, he posted an ERA of 3.98. With the Great Lakes Loons, he is with them the entire season. His average against Reynoso is just 202, and he had 137 strikeouts and 127.2 innings. So it's going to be interesting. We mentioned the 3 innings. He was not the starter of this game. He was what the Dodgers call a piggyback. So one of the ways that the Dodgers have tried to figure out, how to save arms, I know nothing has worked, we've talked about that several different times, was to have basically 2 starting pitchers, one that actually starts the game, and then another one that comes in after the starter and also throws bulk innings as well. So it's going to be interesting, as Reynoso was in that piggyback role the other day, how the Dodgers, if they try to incorporate that more at the major league level, but we'll see. They use it a lot at the minor league level, and this is Nicholas Cruz, who was a big part of the ACL championship team, and then the ACL league, it ended like a month ago. It was led by Juan Apodaca, who was the hitting coach last year for the AA Tulsa Drillers. Going to probably talk to him sometime over the offseason, but Cruz was a big arm for them. They bypassed the Rancho with him and sent him straight to Great Lakes, and he has done a really good job. I have a message out to Dave Anderson as far as his exact mix, so I don't have any of that for you this morning. But again, his whip has been 038 with the Loons. His average against has been 105. I know Austin Brubaker was very excited about some of the work that he has done with the Loons because, hey, they were in a pennant race, or they were trying to make the playoffs as late as last week, and they were winning some extra inning games, if you remember, and they were doing a really good job of doing all of that. So he came up in a big spot for them. and help them. So let's keep an eye on next year. I think it probably start at Rancho, but this is Nicholas Cruz. So I wanted to show you just a little bit of look at him as the Dodgers brought him up just after the ACL season to help with the Loons down the stretch. Hey, Griffin Lockwood Powell, very valuable young man. Hey, the batting average is what it is. It was not great this year, but where he brings value is that he can catch, he can play first base, he can do a little bit of everything. He is a very versatile offensive type player. He can hit the ball the other way, and he can also hit home runs. And this is home run number 14 for him, for the big young man out of South Dakota. And double number 15, too, that you're getting ready to see. That's home run number 14 there, but double number 15 right there you're getting ready to see for big Griffin Lockwood Powell. They call him Lock. Played 48 games at first base. So, like I said, very versatile, and he DH. So he does a lot of things that helps that helps a team throughout the. He's one of those guys that you really need to see on a daily basis just to realize how many different things he actually does for a baseball team to help them win games. So good day for Locke on Sunday. Tulsa has one more week left, and that is at Wichita. They start that series tonight. And it's good to see Jose Ramos. I say this all the time. When he stays inside the ball and he does not get pull happy, when he gets pull happy is when all the swing and miss comes in. His strikeout rate is well over 30%, so it is way too high. We all know that. Not going to harp on that. But it's good to see him go the other way for a home run, for his 16th home run of 2024. We got a glimpse of him in spring training. I know a lot of people were like, hey, this guy's pretty good. So they followed him. And every time I post about him, they remember the name. So really good to see him use the other way. The reason why the other way is so big for him is because he has such lift in his swing, is that whenever he hits the ball out front, he just rolls over the ball. And then a lot of times either he hits a kind of a ground ball to shortstop, and or he just swings and misses entirely. So anytime that you see Jose Ramos take a swing like this where he stays inside the baseball and hits the ball the other way, it's going to be a good thing. Hey, been a little bit tougher season for T.Y. Taylor Young, a young man who stole 56 bases last year. He has 44 stolen bases this year, which leads the Texas League in stolen bases. So I'll bet if you asked him, he'd say, hey, it hasn't been a good year in terms of me gathering hits and my batting average and all that. And I can do a lot better I'm capable of doing better than I have as far as all of that goes. I'll bet he would say that because I know how competitive he is. But even with the type of year he's had, which hasn't been super fantastic for his standards, his WRC plus still is around league average. That just goes to show you when you're a guy like Taylor Young that can get on base, steal bases, and help your team score runs, you have a very high floor. So I love this young man's game. I'm super excited to watch him to continue to develop through the Dodgers minor league system, continue to steal bases, continue to play the style of game that I think the Dodgers need a handful of players like him. That, we see it with Tommy Edman. Those kind of guys that can get on base, they have speed, they can play good defense, they can play pretty much anywhere, and they can just figure out how to score runs. And I really like this guy. No, all gas, no brakes. Mr. Michael Hobbs right here, the all-time saves leader from St. Mary's. 2 innings pitched on, this would have been Sunday evening. Tulsa actually played on Sunday evening. 3 hits, no runs, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk. And like I said, always on the gas pedal, never riding the brakes for Michael Hobbs. ERA 3.11 on the season for him, which is really good, and he has not allowed a run in his last 6 outings. So it's good to see Michael Hobbs finish very, very strong at the AA level. And as we move up to AAA Oklahoma City, one of my kind of sleeper picks that I think is a really good pitcher that probably just the average Dodgers fan, unless you just kind of follow Dodgers daily and you're kind of geeky about prospects, you probably don't know a whole lot about Kevin Gowdy. Kevin Gowdy came over from the Rangers last year and ditched the 4-seam, throwing that 2-seam, threw 2 scoreless innings for AAA Oklahoma City, ERA 3.57. But check this out. Kevin Gowdy's ERA since May 23rd has been just 2.25. So Gowdy's a young man, I promise you. If he was in any other system, kind of like we saw with Ricky Vanasco and Gus Farland, he would already be in the major leagues, and he would be an effective pitcher. Just so happens the Dodgers have a ton of talent like this guy right here, Edgardo Henriquez, and it's tough for Gowdy to find opportunities. But hey, this guy, Edgardo Henriquez, threw a scoreless inning Sunday as well. ERA at the AAA level, 169, fastball touched 102, spin touched 2645, and his cutter was 92 to 94. So if you look at some of the underlying metrics, batting average against, whip, and all that stuff, it shows that he's allowing some hits, he's allowing some guys on base, but then that his stuff is overpowering enough, even at the AAA level, to get himself out of some jams. So I know that Edgardo Henriquez is a big buzz name around, especially, Dodgers fans typically like the higher rated prospects. They like to hear about the guys that are closest to the major leagues. So him and Dalton Rushing are real buzzwords right now, and we'll see how the Dodgers handle him as we go down the stretch. But hey, Edgardo Henriquez absolutely is a video game.